Fucking fuck. Alright guys, I'm actually getting tired of fucking fuck. I want to do more, like, you know, it's like I have blue balls from fucking fuck, you know? Like, I want more than that now, you know? It's like I'm being teased by this intro.
Yeah? What do you think you'd want?
I think it's up to the listener's imagination. But anyway, so guys, I got fucked over by Maz. I think I'm gonna break up with Maz. I'm sorry, Maz. It's not you, it's me. No, actually, it is you. Fuck you.
But is it me or is it you?
No, it's definitely you. It's definitely you. Fucking fuck. Let's go. Go into meditation. Go into meditation.
I was like, man, she's not gonna be able to sit down for months.
Really?
Masturbation.
Before we wrap up, I want to get my religious frustration out. I wasn't empathizing with Hitler. Fucking fuck.
Anything you want to do, you can.
Be a professor. Wink, wink.
Really, you spend too much time on the phone.
Bro, so I went to Vipassana. I said at the end of the last episode that I was going to go to Vipassana.
Yeah, and which is that 10-day silent retreat meditation.
10 days silent retreat. So first things first. Bro, it's so fucking culty. I'm sorry. It's so fucking culty.
Bro, we've spoken about this before. We are all living in a cult.
Yeah, but
the society cult, the university cult. University is a cult. We had this chat before.
No, we have had this chat, but there's so much restrictions. So let me give some context, yeah? So context for the listeners. You go to this thing, yeah? First thing they tell you is this 10-day retreat is like surgery on your mind and your soul or whatever. And when you're in the middle of a surgery, the surgeon's not just going to let you get up and leave. So there's like a lot of emphasis on you can't fucking leave.
You shouldn't leave, yeah.
You shouldn't leave, but they don't make it feel like you shouldn't leave. It's more like, at least the vibes I got is like you can't leave unless like it's rude, like...
You did leave, so you can leave.
You know the story.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Anyway, so then you wake up first day. So you wake up at 4 a.m. Which, this is the thing, man. I was telling Masood before. I was like, bro, I've been traveling for like months. I'm tired. And I don't know if I'm physically and mentally prepared for the exhaustion of this. And what did you say when I said that?
I said, you just do it.
No, that's not what he said. That's not what he said.
Look, what is that? I think I said, you're sitting or lying down.
Yeah.
You're not doing exhausting work. You're not like going to the gym doing workout. Like physically, it's not exhausting. It can be exhausting in other ways.
But physically, you said
but
it's not
physically, it's just sitting down and walking.
I get that. However, can I just say something?
Yeah.
Waking up at 4 a.m. is fucking hard when I've been months of partying,
But
staying up till 3.
If you go to bed at 9 p.m., which is what happens there, 9 to 9:30, then waking up at 4 isn't that bad. You're getting 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. You're getting 7 hours. Is 7 hours not enough for you?
Maybe. Look, 7 hours, it was okay, but I was still tired.
Yeah.
Morning meditations, I just fell asleep because I was just tired.
And look, I have fallen asleep sometimes in the meditations.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens.
It happens.
Nothing wrong with it.
Anyway, so that's one thing. Second thing was, it's fucking hard sitting cross-legged, man. Mm-hmm. Like you go through, and you said it's not physically challenging. I would say it's pretty physically challenging sitting cross-legged. So there is a level of physical pain and discomfort.
I mean, there's other options that you can try. Did you try the
Bro, I tried everything.
The kneeling one?
I tried the kneeling one. It still was uncomfortable.
The kneeling one is the one I usually...
And the thing that pissed me off was I requested a chair. So you said that if you request a chair, they give you a chair. And I asked for a chair. And then when I went to the first meditation practice, my name was on a fucking cushion. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, where's my chair? So
did you tell them?
No, so I did. So I had to sit down through that one. And then after I went to the manager, the guy there, I was like, hey, I requested a chair, I've got back problems. And he said that you need to have a meeting with the assistant monk.
Assistant teachers.
Assistant teacher, yeah, to get a chair.
Chair, yeah.
So then the next morning I had to still sit cross-legged, and I had a lot of back pain and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I talked to the assistant mark, and he's like, I don't want to give you a chair.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'll give you a backrest and see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how come? And he said, when people come to Vipassana, the first thing they notice is the physical discomfort, and they tend to avoid it. But in this practice, you're supposed to sit with the discomfort and blah, blah. So try backrest, see how you go. So anyway, for the first day, I was just pissed off.
Yeah.
I was pissed off at Masood. I was pissed off at this institution.
Uh-huh.
And I was pissed off that I had to wake up at 4 a.m. Yeah, anyway, so fuck you.
That's the official request for a breakup.
Pretty much. It's an official request. So then the next thing was that once I got into like more of the deep meditation, I was like really, really physically triggered. Like after my first meditation, I kind of had like a panic attack. And when I got up, like I had full like numbness in my body, shortness of breath, difficulty swallowing, lightheadedness. And anyway, long story short, I don't want to go into it too much, but the environment was very triggering for some of the childhood traumas that I had. And it's like, I didn't even know these things were still there. Like when I was meditating, like I had some visuals, flashbacks that like, I didn't even remember that shit. Like I genuinely didn't remember that shit.
You did remember it in your subconscious and unconscious, and it was directing your life.
Yeah,
you just didn't consciously remember it.
Yeah, no, exactly. So anyway,
so you know when they said it's a surgery, it is a surgery. Like they were cutting open your unconscious and subconscious, and this is the stuff that was like boiling there, and it just comes to the surface.
Yeah. So I'm not denying that the strategy works, but what I'm saying is, I didn't like the approach.
Yeah,
I didn't like how
it was too brute force.
It was too brute force and militant. Like I'm a strong believer of dealing with trauma. Yeah, dealing with the traumas that shape your subconscious and shape the decisions that you make.
How you interact with them.
How you interact with the world. Yeah, but I am a strong believer of there needs to be an element of safety. Because if you feel in fight or flight again, you're just becoming re-traumatized. You're not actually integrating anything. So you need to be able to activate those traumas, which is great, and that's what the meditation practice did, which is fantastic. But then you need someone to hold your hand and say, it's okay, this time you're safe. Now let's integrate this and make sense of it. But to just relive the trauma through brute force, and look, it worked. Like it's been a few weeks later, I've taken a lot of things from that experience, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. So yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, that's interesting. So 3 weeks later, and you've integrated some stuff, and you've because we talked about this beforehand as well, and you said like it's had a net positive now.
Now it's had a net positive.
Now it has had, yeah, like.
But I had to do a lot to turn the frown upside down. I had to do a lot of work to try and make sense of it and and it could very easily have just been a re-traumatizing event. Yeah. Like it was like all of my understanding of psychology, of self-help, having good friends and network around me, having a therapist that's accessible. But it was very, very it was a dangerous game to play, in my opinion. And that's why and that's why initially I started with blaming Masood. Because I was like, the way he said it, I knew it was going to be hard, but this was more than just hard.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, to me, it sounds like it was particularly hard for you because the context really activated some specific, like was a specific context that activated specific trauma that you have. I mean, those not everyone has those specific traumas that get triggered by the context.
Yeah.
So yours got you sort of, because you left like quite early as well. You didn't actually. So usually, what would happen for most people, the context doesn't activate the trauma, but then when you see it like later on into the experience, when you have a more understanding of equanimity, which means equanimity is a word that means not pushing away something unpleasant and not craving something pleasant. It's sort of accepting what is.
Wait, can I just intervene here and say, right now, all right, guys, I'm gonna take you back to an episode which we released in season 1 that not everyone got to listen to, but season 1 of the podcast, I had gone to a 3-day silent meditation retreat, and it was really positive, really positive. And I had some insights about equanimity and about going deep into meditation that I just want to share with you guys now, and then we'll cut back to now.
Sure.
Thoughts are also not a representation of reality. And sometimes when we ruminate, when we get into these thought loops and cycles, it's kind of like the more we cycle through it, the more it becomes real, and then it kind of changes into being a construct of reality.
So like we give it power by staying with it, by engaging with it, by giving it more energy. The thought then become actually powerful enough to have an impact on reality. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so it's like, how do I explain this? Because of course it's easy to just say, hey, stop having those thoughts. But what I'm trying to get at is you as a human being, you do have a choice to not engage with your thoughts. Just so you know that is an option that you have. Some people might say, okay, well, I don't know how to do that. And then that's when you have meditation, Buddhist philosophy, psychedelics, whatever. So I feel like through meditation, I had the courage to engage with my thoughts. Actually, it's counterintuitive, but no, I engaged with my thoughts. So my eyes were closed. I was sitting there. It's like 5:30 a.m. Just trying to meditate, whatever meditate means for you. And a thought would come, an intrusive thought. It's kind of that thing that it's like gum. It sticks to the back of your brain. So I was meditating, and that thought came. That thought came, and it was like, okay, like you upset your friend. Like, did I do the right thing? Did I do the wrong thing? And that's rumination, where you're second guessing yourself. You're second guessing everything around you. You fall into this rumination pattern,
like indecision.
Yeah. So this thought came, and I went with it. I was like, okay, like I won't push it away. Let's engage with it. And then the second it got a bit too much to handle. So the second where it was actually becoming painful, because emotions are involved with this thought. The pain of losing a friend.
It's charged thought.
Then what you do is
go back to the breath.
Deep breath. And then sometimes I even slightly open my eyes, just like a little bit, and there was candles around the room, and I'd come back to the present. And then I'd close my eyes again, another thought would come, a deep breath. If I ever got too overwhelmed, sometimes no, you go with the thought, and it's interesting. You're like, okay, it's like you're psychoanalyzing yourself, kind of. But if it gets overwhelming, again, a breath. So the whole point was that the thoughts are just thoughts. It's kind of like maybe you can come up with a good example for this, like a good analogy. But it's like, it's kind of like, the thing that comes to my mind is when it's raining outside, when it's dripping very slightly. It's not pouring, slight drips.
You can sprinkle.
Yeah, you can still go for a walk. And if you're scared by the drops of rain, it can be very, very, very distressing to go for a walk when it's sprinkling. But otherwise, the sprinkles just come and they sit on your face and they drop down your cheekbones, they go down your neck, and it's fine. And if you want, you open an umbrella and it no longer bothers you. But it's like, I've gained this passive perspective to thoughts. All right, so now we're back, all right? And I just wanted to mention that was really interesting because I literally did the same, not the same exactly, but it was a similar style of meditation. And if I had only listened to my own advice, which back then my own advice was, the thoughts are just thoughts, and they don't define who you are, and you don't need to engage with them. You know, it's kind of like we are just conscious. Our consciousness is just observing these thoughts coming and going, and they are not us. But when I went through that panicked state, I was completely drowning by those thoughts. Yeah. Like, it was extreme.
They sucked you in. There was like a vortex of thoughts and you got sucked right in.
Exactly. And I'm just saying that it's crazy how when you can hold your ground and not get sucked in, it can be such a beautiful thing. It can be such a beautiful thing. But it's a very fine line between, like, if you get sucked in, you're fucked.
Well, let me add on to that a little bit. So, having had done Vipassana a few times myself, there's been points that I've gotten sucked in too. But what I've learned is when you get sucked, and it's not just about Vipassana, you can get sucked into a vortex of thoughts any time in your life.
Yeah. But can you give like an example, like a real life example?
Yeah, real life example. For me, if I have attraction towards someone and I haven't voiced it, so I really like this person, but I haven't made them know that I like them. Yeah, I get into a vortex in my head because I'm like, should I do it? Should I not do it? When to do it? How to do it? It's just continuous. It's a big fucking vortex of thought in my mind. Like, that's one of the things that just takes me out of the present moment into my head. I'm no longer experiencing the present moment. I'm just in my head trying to like come up with what to do next. And I drown in those thoughts until I come out and say, okay, boom, I'm doing it. And then I go and do it.
Wait, can I just say what's interesting is exactly what you described. That's what I went through on the last day that I was at the retreat, where I was stuck. Like, do I stay? Do I go? Do I stay? Do I go? Do I stay? Do I go? And it was just a vicious vortex of me fighting with my internal voice. And what you just described is until you put your foot down and you say, I'm gonna say it. And most of the time, my experience has been exactly like that, where eventually I make the decision that I think is best. Yeah. But what happened to me this time that I had never really experienced before is I lost. Like, I lost that internal battle. Where the voice, the anxious voice.
What were the sides of this battle?
Well, the sides was one which was the anxiety or the trauma or the whatever you want to call it, which was like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Like, this is, like, you're gonna die. Like, your mind is being melted by acid. Like, if you stay any longer, when you leave, you're gonna like not be able to talk for like 2 months. Yeah.
So, like, fear, anxiety,
dread,
distress, dread, and
very powerful sensations. Yeah, very powerful sensations.
And was there a physical sensation accompanied by this, or was this mostly mental?
No, definitely physical. You know, with the thing, something being stuck in your throat. You know, with the shortness of breath, like it's like I couldn't remember the last time I actually got a good gulp of breath. You know, so you're just like, like you just constantly feel like you just need more oxygen, but you just don't have enough. And then the opposing side was me,
what did the opposing side say?
Well, the opposing
so this side was saying get the fuck out.
Yeah, and the opposing side was like, no, this is good for you. The opposing side was like, don't push away the discomfort. You know,
the
equanimity, like sit with it, be curious about it. What is it trying to tell you? You're safe. You know, nothing. There's no real danger here. You're an adult. You know, time will pass. It's uncomfortable now, but eventually you'll go back to your home. You know, and you'll be surrounded by your friends, and it's okay. So there's these two opposing thoughts.
Yeah.
But eventually, it's like I folded my hand.
Yeah. The get the fuck outside was
just took over 100%.
Overpowered the other side.
And the noise of the side that was like, it's okay, just died down.
Yeah.
And then it was like full fucking panic mode. Then it was full like the end of the world. Like that voice that was reasonable and responsible just left, just gone.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's fascinating.
So it was this like the first time that you've had this internal conflict and you lost?
First time in my adult life, yeah.
Yeah.
First time in my adult life. And it was extremely humbling, but it was scary.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you could say in a way it was ego death. Like not in the traditional sense, but in the sense of more in like an emphatic way. Where like
emphatic way?
Emphatic as like dramatic, as in like the self which I associated with strongly was defeated in battle.
Ah, I see what you mean.
You know, it was very like just being stabbed in your heart and then just like falling down.
So it's like your power was taken almost.
Exactly. And I had never, like, there's been points when like, yeah, okay, like, you know, when you're tempted by something, you know, you do something you're not supposed to do. You have moments of weakness.
Yes, of course.
But it had never been annihilated.
Like a complete defeat.
Yeah, like to that extent. Because I was always a big believer of like mind over matter. Like my mind was my tool. It was my greatest asset. And in that moment, my greatest asset was disintegrated.
Well, actually, I think it sounds like your mind is a tool, right? And so sometimes we use our mind to do what we need to do, but at times the mind can use us if you're not.
The mind can use us. What do you mean?
Like in those cases that you said, for example, when you go and do something that you really know you shouldn't do. In those cases, why did you do it? Because your mind told you to do it. There was a push or the desire to push you to do it, and you whoever you are knew you shouldn't do it, but you lost that battle and you did it. So I think in some cases, if you're not careful, at least for me, it can switch.
Yeah, no, but I don't know if I would say the same word, like the mind uses you, but I just think that I see it more as you're overwhelmed by some physiological power or some physiological drive, whether it's, you know, craving for something, whether it's wanting to avoid something really deeply, whether it's feeling.
But isn't the place where those are born in your mind?
Yeah, I guess what your definition. It depends what like how you define the confines of the mind. But yeah.
Like craving originates from your mind. Does it not?
I guess it originates, but then there's a feedback loop between your hormones.
Yeah, but like even your hormones, you know, the gland, most your hormones is produced from your brain. Like your brain is the structure that produces most of that.
Yeah,
right? Like most of it. There's some other parts as well.
Yeah,
but the
generally
ones,
speaking, yeah.
the ones that are actually specifically relevant to the things that you talked about, like craving, is mostly like your mind, right? Your brain, your actual physical brain structure. So it is your mind that's creating that thing.
Yeah, so I think it depends, once again, how you define mind. Like, to me, mind, when I say mind, I mean more consciousness. So I'm saying mind is where you're conscious about something, whereas I feel like craving is sometimes you're not even conscious of it. Like, you walk into a bar and then your mouth starts to salivate, and then your consciousness is like, oh, I must be craving a beer. So I'm saying sometimes our biology is stronger than our willpower. I think that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not it's not important.
It's semantics.
Yeah,
it's all semantics.
Yeah,
like we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just using different words.
So anyway, so I think that was extremely eye-opening and humbling. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
I'm actually, to be honest, I'm a bit surprised that. What day did you leave? Second day or third day?
I left in the morning of the third day.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised they let you go like easily enough.
Yeah.
Like, usually they like if there's been people that sort of felt like, oh, this is not for me. I'm irritated, agitated, and they go talk to the teacher. Because I've volunteered in the kitchen a few times, I've talked to teachers a fair bit. Usually the teachers would say, just stay with it for another day, see how you go, it might get better. And especially day 3, because on day 4, you start a new technique of meditation. So the first 3 days, you do Anapana, which is the breath awareness, and you're focusing on your breathing. But day 4, you change it to body scan. And I personally have found that Anapana is extremely difficult for me because it just gets boring. But the body scan doesn't get boring because there's always like something happening. It's just interesting. Like, oh, that's cool. Like, I've got heat here and I've got this there. And it's a bit more dynamic. Whereas the breathing one is less dynamic, but it's essential because that's what sharpens your focus. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm still glad they let me go.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely think
you've got a capacity. I was beyond capacity.
I was way beyond capacity. Like it got to the stage where I personally think damage was just being done. Like,
and look, there is something to be said for what you're saying right now. I read a book called Trauma-Informed Mindfulness, if I recall correctly. It was written by some PhD guy who is also an avid meditator, and he talks about this concept of window of tolerance.
Yeah.
So there is a window where you can tolerate what is going on, like when a trauma is activated or when those vortex of thoughts is going on. There is a certain amount of it where you can still stay grounded and stay present and sit with those and be with those. But if you go beyond that window, it can become traumatizing itself. So it's one legit criticism of Vipassana for sure, because there's less of a facilitator, less of someone holding space. Because like the point of me reading that book was because I like to run workshops and stuff. I wanted to be trauma informed, and like he was talking about like there's certain symptoms, and actually you mentioned some of the symptoms like the shortness of the breath, the very sweating, sweating, shortness of breath, and there was some symptoms. He said if you are a facilitator of meditation and you notice someone is having these symptoms, you go to them and you get them to ground. You get them to go up for a walk.
Exactly.
You bring them back down into the window, because those symptoms indicate they are either at the edge or beyond the edge. And that's not where the growth and healing happens. The growth and healing happens when you are in that window of tolerance where you are able to tolerate the discomfort, the vortex, whatever it is that you're experiencing. You can still tolerate it, you can be present with it, you can notice it, you can observe it, like you were saying about what you learned in the other meditation.
Exactly, yeah.
Where you were seeing things, thoughts as just thoughts.
Yeah, exactly.
That window is where healing and effective things happen. Outside of that can be traumatizing. So that's fair. But then, so would you like to share a little bit more about like, so after you left and you were sort of distressed, how did you turn that around? Because just then you said, overall it's been net positive now.
Yeah. Okay, it's interesting.
So there's something missing there.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I just want to mention is I just want to comment on what you described. I think a similar exercise. So I just want to share. Maybe I don't think I've said this on the podcast before, but this was like maybe a year and a half ago. You know, I was with my therapist, and I go to therapy with the intention of pulling things out from under the rug. Like I'm actively trying to resolve things that aren't really impacting me right now, but
and they are always impacting.
Oh no, but it's not like distressing me right now.
It's not noticeably impacting you. Like you're not aware that it's impacting you, but it is always impacting you. Whatever unconscious shit you got going on is 100% driving your like. Why do you think someone has a desire to have a cake and someone has a desire to have a carrot? Like naturally, they have just different desires come up. And it's all sort of.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. But the reason I wanted to mention this is I was doing some mindfulness practice with the therapist, and I don't remember the exact details, but it was very much like meditating, becoming aware of my surroundings, doing a body scan, focusing on my breath. And then we addressed some issues. I don't remember what it was exactly. And then slowly, I started to dissociate. Which was so fucking random. Like, it was...
When you're saying dissociate, can you tell me what's your experience of dissociate? What does that mean to
you? My experience of dissociation was slowly, my body started to feel numb. And then I opened my eyes, and I completely felt like I couldn't feel my arms and my legs.
Like so you're kind of like disconnected almost.
Completely disconnected.
The whatever communication between your brain and body goes up, like whatever connects that was just disconnected.
Exactly. And the thing is, also like I feel like there's like a lightheadedness as well. Like a lightheadedness, like I was kind of about to faint.
Like
dizziness.
Yeah.
But I managed to keep with the practice. Like I didn't panic. I didn't panic at all. I was just curious.
Because you had the support.
Exactly. I was just curious. I was like, this is interesting. Like, I can't feel my arms. And she's like, okay, like, are you happy to keep continuing? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And she's like, okay, like, what else do you feel in your body? So I explored that like fight or flight, high cortisol sensation.
That dissociation.
With deep curiosity. And with constantly having someone check in with me, like, do you feel safe?
You're fine, yeah.
Do you want to keep going?
Support, yeah.
You know? And then eventually I was like, actually, like, it's a bit scary. So then she came and she's like, started to like push against my hands. And she gave me some books to hold, just to feel some weight
physical
again.
Ground. This is how you ground.
Exactly. And then like she put her feet on my feet and started like pushing against it. And then slowly, I came back into myself. And I was like, wow, that was really cool. Like it was like a 1 hour therapy session. And I felt like I'd gone on a journey. And I was like, it's like I did the surgery and then I got stitched back up. And then I went back and lived my life. And I was like, damn, that was a cool experience. And that is how you deal with trauma. in my opinion, because I think the thing with Vipassana was you're as alone as you were when you were traumatized in the first place. And the feeling of being alone is not a nice feeling, especially when it's associated with traumas.
And that's what I mean. Like, so the thing is, going back to what I was trying to say before with equanimity, usually the context itself is not a trigger for people. So they don't get this feeling of triggers doesn't happen that early. If it happens, it happens on day 5 or day 6. Day 6 is a big one. Usually if people leave, they leave on day 6. But by then, so when those traumas or whatever becomes activated, you also have cultivated that ability of equanimity. So in a way, you are holding your own hand when it happens. But because the context itself was triggering for you, you sort of you were already under pressure before you were able to cultivate equanimity.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like it kind of like happened too quick for you. So you're like, oh fuck, I'm like drowning already. Like you didn't have swimming lessons and you've gone to the ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
It's alright if you don't have swimming lessons. You can go to the pool. Pool is chill. Like especially if you can stand.
You
can just stand in pool and play. But if you go to the ocean, it's a different thing, right? You want to know at least a little bit swimming before you go to the ocean.
No, I think that's a great analogy.
Yeah, that's what
analogy.
It seems like.
But back to your question of
what did you do in between from Vipassana? Because Vipassana seems like it brought up a lot of things, and you were left sort of distressed, but you have now come to a place where you're like, actually, now it was a good thing.
Yeah,
so
okay.
You integrated some things from it for it to become good things to life.
Okay. So the first thing I would say is spending times with friends, like reconnecting deeply, and not leaving myself to linger in that feeling of aloneness. So getting social support, ASAP, as much as possible. That really helped. Talking about it really helped. And I know it's not always possible for people, but that really helped for me. The only thing I'm gonna say is alternative medicine. And if people are interested, you can message me. I'll tell you what alternative medicine I used. Alternative medicine really helped. And I think that's it, just time. I think just through time. And the hardest part was rebuilding trust with myself. Because right after this experience, I felt really disconnected with myself. Like I felt like, as I said, my inner voice was shattered.
Yeah, lost, defeated,
exactly. So I think refinding that. So I think that's when the resilience comes in, and that's when there was nothing that I did, but it's like all of the skills that I had built over the years for being resilient, they came in handy. And all of the skills of, I've been to places where I feel lost. And I have come back from them. And I think that's the definition of resilience, where
bouncing back from challenges.
Yeah, being completely fucked is not an unfamiliar feeling. So you always know that, even though this was probably one of the most challenging times, like I didn't know how I would integrate back into life. But I think deep down there is this power that you'll make sense of it. And when you surround yourself with the right people, they help you make sense of it. So I think that's, honestly, hats off to my friends and family. Like, I couldn't have done this on my own. If I was on my own, I'd be fucked. Like, I would be so fucked. And that's the scary thing with mental health, man. A lot of the people who tend to suffer the most, it's when they're disconnected.
Yeah, and like, look, I remember back when there was COVID happening, COVID lockdowns and stuff, and I was at Lifeline. You have no idea how many times someone called and their friends and family had different ideologies around the whole COVID thing. And so they were like, You know, imagine in your family and friends, everyone is pro-vax or everyone is anti-vax and you're the other one. So, and a lot of people couldn't see past this minor difference. They couldn't see past this and see the humanity and the connection that they have. Like this was like this thing, I was just blocking the connection. And I was getting so many people calling. They were like, this is my first time calling Lifeline. I usually like have such good support system. My life is like when challenges happen, I've got my support, I've got my friends, I've got my family, but they don't speak to me now. And I've got no one.
Yeah, wow.
And that's why I'm calling Lifeline, because I lost all my support. Yeah, so when you were talking about that, it just reminded me of that.
Shit. No, it's intense. And yeah, I think that's probably the biggest, what's the word? Preventative measure against things like depression.
Mental health challenges.
Mental health challenges is a strong social network. And not just someone who's extroverted. I think with the backbone of vulnerability and authenticity.
Yeah. Proper connection.
Proper connection where, yeah, I could go up to people and say, I'm fucked. How are you feeling? I'm fucked.
Yeah. It's not the sort of, hi, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Good. Bye. Thank you.
not even that though, but it's the idea of, bro, my ego took a battering.
Yeah.
You know, before I told all my friends, like, yeah, I'm going to this 10-day retreat, blah, blah. And to come back and say, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, I failed.
Yeah.
And to have enough faith and trust in my friends that they weren't going to
judge
me or ridicule me, to just be like, man, I just need you to hold my hand.
Yeah.
And like,
be supportive and give you the support you needed in that tenderness.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just think, yeah, super grateful to those people. And yeah, it's just a reminder for those who are listening to just, you never know when life's going to fuck you. So just make sure you got strong connections and friendships.
And you know, going off tangents from this topic,
yeah.
When you brought up authenticity and vulnerability, let's go into my thing now.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I was away for 3 weeks in the Northern Rivers, which is about just south of Byron.
Hippie fucking festival. No, hippie what? Hippie Community Gathering.
It's called Rainbow Gathering. And
it's not LGBT.
No, this existed before that.
Oh, this is they stole it from
like
the hippies.
1950s.
Whoa! What do you mean existed, bro? There are gay people from the beginning of
the rainbow being associated with
is that
LGBTQ,
new?
It's
a modern thing.
It's more of a modern thing.
Oh wow! I need someone to fact check that. Get back to me.
Well, I think this is the case. I could be wrong.
I have no idea.
But anyways, it has nothing to do with...
Bro, everything was black and white before.
They are inclusive. Like you can be whatever you want to be.
Okay,
but it's not...
So we're not going to cancel them.
It's not specifically related to them at all.
Okay, sorry, continue.
So I felt like I needed to go there. I didn't know why, and I didn't know what it was going to be about, really. I just knew it's like some hippies coming together.
Bro, you always say this shit, but it never makes sense to me. Just listen to that sentence. I felt like I needed to be there, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. There was a curiosity to go and explore, but I don't know what I'm exploring yet.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Like you might feel like, oh, I want to go to Spain. I want to go traveling. You don't know what you're going to do there. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You don't know what's there. But there's a curiosity that's pushing you to
there's an element
that should make sense.
No, okay, I get that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I go to Rainbow Gathering, and it's a really interesting place. A lot of shit happens.
Is there nudity?
For me. There is nudity. There's
nice.
a lot of nudity, yeah. But so first thing I noticed is like how addicted I am to time and to the fight I have with time.
Okay, elaborate.
So, you know, me and you, we always talk about how we live in the fast lane, you know. We say yes to a lot of things, and then our days are filled with awesome, cool shit.
Yeah.
And it's good, I love it. But we're also fighting time all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's like a
In what way?
constant war with the time. Like you're trying to check your time, see, like just before we started this podcast, we checked the time to see what time we're going to finish this to make it to Jackson's house, and maybe from Jackson's house going to city for the thing. So it's like, there's an awareness of, hey, time is ticking. Once this is finished, I've got to make it to that next thing, and to the next thing, and to the next thing, and it just keeps going. There's no stopping. I haven't stopped in a fucking long time. I don't know about you, but I haven't stopped for a long time.
Yeah.
I've been going full speed ahead.
But what do you mean you're addicted to the battle?
Yeah, so what I mean is
Interesting
like...
way of putting it.
Yeah, it's like when I was there and I didn't even know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. My phone was in my car, locked away, half an hour away. And I was just waking up when I naturally wake up, or when I hear the call food circle. And then get up. There's completely no awareness of time. And you're just going around doing your things. And initially there was this agitation inside me. Like, oh, you're not doing much. Go, you should be doing things. You shouldn't waste time. That's what I meant by that addiction. There was this it's like, if you've been a smoker, or if you've done any substances or whatever, coffee drinker, anything, then you have a addiction with it. If you stop, you're going to feel agitated on some level. That kind of agitation came up for me when I wasn't being productive, quote unquote productive, So I noticed it. I was like, wow, this is interesting. And then within a week, so it took a week for me to get to this place where I was okay. I was at peace with time. I fully relaxed, and I was just in it now. I'm I don't even, initially I kept wanting to know what time it is, but then at that point that desire to know what time it is was gone. I didn't even know what day it was, and I was completely fine with it. And that was a really cool experience.
That sounds difficult. I don't think I'd be able to do that.
It's challenging. It was challenging in that way, but it got to a really cool place. I was loving it. Loving not knowing, not needing to know time.
But okay, can we just take a step back? Do you... it sounds like the way you've described being addicted to the battle against time, you described that with a negative connotation.
It is, because it's stressful. I've noticed, I got back yesterday, I'm looking in my room. My room is messy. I need to clean it. I need to sort shit out.
Yeah.
And I've just brought all the stuff that I took camping. A lot of it is dirty. A lot of it is wet. I need to wash them. I need to dry them. Put them back in their place.
Yeah.
And I've got so many things. Just suddenly my calendar is full. And it's full of things I love to do. For example, today, I spent time with you, later go see Jackson, Michael, whatever, my good friends, right? And tomorrow I'm doing a job that I really love, this cool thing, and then seeing my friend. It's all lovely stuff, but there's just a lot of them. And it creates some busyness. And with busyness comes stress and tension.
Okay.
That's why I put it in negative. I love it, but it has a side effect.
No, so this is the thing. What I was going to say is the alternative to that is what?
So I've been thinking, I don't quite know if I'm willing to do it. The alternative would be to do less. To say less to a few things. So instead of, for example, packing in today. So today I packed it and we had breakfast, the sauna, and catching up with Jackson, and potentially later on going to city. That's a whole day, right? So maybe take out 2 things, and you only do 2 things. But then when you only have 2 things to do, then you can do them with a sense of relaxation. You don't need to rush from A to B to C to D, because you're only going from A to B. That's the alternative. But I don't think I'm gonna do it. Not yet anyway. I feel like life is too precious.
Exactly.
to, like, time is limited. We have been blessed with the gift of life.
Exactly.
And I want to experience as much of it as I can. But I think there is a place for this slowing down as well. I think how I'm going to take this forward is I'll probably keep my busy life still, but every now and then I'm just going to block 2 days. 2 days of, like, in my calendar, I'm just going to write slow down. And I'm going to block 2 days, just 2 days of just me having no plans. And I have a plan. The plan is to slow down on those 2 days. To sort of just at least tip the scales a little bit more into a balance at the moment. Because at the moment it's just like 100, 0. Make it at least 20, 80.
No, I like that. But the only reason I challenged what you said is because, to me, I don't see it as a negative thing. I see it as you're living in accordance with your values. Yeah. And maybe for someone else, the slow life, that is more in accordance with their values. Maybe their values is, smell the flowers.
But enjoyment and relaxation, those are things I value too.
But to me, it sounds like enjoyment is a value, but relaxation is not up there in your top 5 values. They're more important than relaxation is, connection, I don't know, ecstasy.
It is.
So to me, it just sounds like you're living in accordance with your values.
Yeah.
There's a price, but
there's a price I'm paying.
But you love to live with your values.
But it's good to become aware of this price, because I wasn't even aware of this price.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, if you're not aware of it, if you come to a shop and you're buying stuff you look at this phone, you're like, I like this phone, and you just buy it. You don't know how much it is. It's not good to buy stuff without knowing how much it is, because if you know how much it is, you might buy less or you might buy more.
I think that's great. And also, a couple of things. I just want to say a couple of ideas. I have the perspective to see everything as though it's an addiction. Yeah. Or everything as though it's a drug. And first thing is, something that not all, but lots of regular drug users do, is they'll purposefully go off the drug for about 3 weeks, knowing that when they use it again, it's going to feel better.
Yeah. To kill the tolerance.
Yeah, but it's not because they're trying to be healthier. It's just because they want to feel more pleasure again.
Yeah.
So I'm saying for you can have the same perspective as to, like, creating those 2 days of nothingness. It's breaking the addiction chain where you're having more maximal experiences.
And I was actually quite last night. I was like, I bought my plane ticket to Bali. Made the workshop for this authentic relating thing I'm doing. I did heaps of things. I was just like doing mode, just doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that, and I loved it. I loved it so much that my mind was going so fast that I couldn't fall asleep.
No, I get that. And the only other thing is, so right now.
So that's a good idea. I think
the addiction.
It ties into what I'm already planning to do, to have those, like, intentional slow days in my calendar. It's like slow day. Slow day means slow day. And I'm just going to intentionally implant those in my calendar.
And what does your tattoo say?
My tattoo says everything good is hard to get.
And you know what else I'm going to add?
Yeah.
Too much of a good thing is bad.
I do agree with that.
Whoa, tattoo number 2 on your left arm.
No, actually, so it's funny. We go on a tangent now, but that's fine. So I only got this tattoo when the lesson expired.
Oh.
So
I thought you got it because a pretty girl said get it.
She encouraged me to because I said I want to get a tattoo. It's like, why not now? Like,
that's it.
Got a point.
That's it. But yeah, God bless her.
Yes, I am very happy to have had it. But anyways, so I only got this tattoo when the lesson expired. So I talked about the ditch experience before in one of the episodes, and when you are in a ditch, and that's not, no, I'm not talking about the physical ditch that I was talking about. I'm more talking about the metaphorical ditch of being so down in the depths of suffering, no hope. Shit's hopeless, right?
Yeah.
When you are there, everything is hard to get. Every good thing that you get from that place is going to be difficult. If you're obese, becoming fit is difficult. If you have all these unhealthy habits, changing them around is going to be difficult. But now I'm I'm not in a ditch anymore. I'm probably on a mountain, like not even flat surface, on a mountain.
Nice.
And on a mountain, shit just comes easily. So if I was gonna get another tattoo, it would be like blessings flow to me. I don't know.
Yo, guys, Master's gonna come back from Bali and he's gonna say he's the next prophet of God.
I mean, the prophets did go into darkness before they became prophets. So who knows?
And you know what I'm gonna do?
You're gonna be my spread my cult.
No, opposite. You know, I'm gonna be like Judas. I'll straight up be Judas. I'll be like the Antichrist. I'll start a cult against your cult. I'll be like, Master's an imposter. He's not that good anyway. Don't follow him.
I'll just have to convince you, and then I get all your followers.
Oh,
easy.
Let's do it. I'm excited. But
anyways, we got distracted. So let me go back to Rainbow Gathering and talk a few more things about it.
Yeah, let's go.
So, one thing that was really cool is before every meal, everyone comes and you make a circle of people standing and holding hands, and you just start singing. And it just gets you in such a vibe, like singing like happy hippie songs with a bunch of other people.
Cult.
I mean, look, we've had the cult conversation already, so I don't feel like it would be interesting to have it again.
I'm just being annoying. Continue.
But look, there is some cult vibes in just about everything. And there is some cult vibes. But, like, it's actually amazing what's happening there. Like, think about this. So you go there, you set up, there's no, you don't have to pay any money to go in or whatever. And it was on a private property. So someone allowed us to use their property for this gathering. And, people have brought so much stuff to help make this happen, like big pots to cook food for 200 people.
Shit.
Massive tarps to set up a space like for the kitchen, and like a chill out space to keep the rain out and the sun out, and like there's all these things that need to be done. Like someone needs to focalize a meal. Someone's gonna put their hand up like, I'll make dinner. Who wants to help me? If no one does that, there's no dinner to eat because someone needs to do it. So there's an initiative, like there's an opportunity for people to take initiative and also like contribute in whatever ways, and like the food comes from. So they have this thing, the hat. At the end of each meal, they go around the circle, and you can put money in if you want, and there's no expectation or pressure. They just go around singing a song like magic hat, put some love in the magic hat. And there's someone playing guitar, and there's like people dancing, and they go around the circle with a hat.
Oh my God, that's so weird. Oh my God.
But that song is actually stuck in my head. I love it.
Hey, it sounds like it's from Smelly Cat from Friends. Have you seen Friends?
Not really.
I'll show it to you after. But that's pretty funny though. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, and then that money gets used to like buy the food.
To build the temples and fund the corrupt priests. Yeah. Nice. That's very good.
What else? Yeah, so that's like the logistics of it. But there was so many cool things I learned when I was there. So like, for example, one of them was the first few days, I contributed a lot. Like, I was constantly going to bring wood for the fires. There was a spring somewhere where you go and bring spring water for the kitchen. So someone needs to be doing that. So the kitchen has water for the cooking and things like that. And like helping with setting up the tubs and things like that. So I was doing a lot the first few days. And then I noticed one day I was walking by and a brother was like lying down.
A brother?
It's a family. It's a family.
Oh,
it's a family.
It's called brother.
It's a family, bro. It's a family. They just call it a family. It's a rainbow family.
And then what if the dad comes and touches you inappropriately?
There's no dads here. It's just brothers and sisters.
Okay.
It's just the siblings.
okay. I'm not gonna go there. That's fine. Okay, so brother was lying down.
Brother was lying down
So-
under a shade of a tree, and reading a book, enjoying his time. He looked like he was having a great time.
Nice.
And I was carrying some like wood for the fire under the heat, and the sun was burning me. And in that moment, I felt some resentment inside me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Ooh, I don't want to be. This is not a feeling that aligns with me. I do not like to feel resentful ever." And so I put down the wood and I go and meditate and journal and reflect. And why am I feeling resentful? Because I don't experience resentment much at all. And when I do, I take it very seriously because it's like a poison. If you don't cut it off, it grows and fosters, and it just becomes this messy thing that just ruins lives, in my opinion. Especially if you have it towards like people in your life. Those relationships, whatever kind of relationships they might be, will not flourish. You know, you were talking about having good support, social, like authentic support. You cannot have authentic, vulnerable support, friendships or relationships if you have a resentment towards the person.
So do you believe in healthy conflict?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how you deal with the resentment. You bring it up and you're like, hey.
Fuck you, Mason.
Yeah, you already proposed the breakup.
No, I guess that's so nice. So you reflected on the resentment.
Yes, I reflected on the resentment, and I understood that I was giving too much of my energy and effort and time into this, more than my capacity. So I dialed it back down to less. But then when I was giving with a smile. I was giving with an open heart and good vibes, good feelings. And that was such a good lesson to learn in life. Give, but only if you're giving.
Only if you're willing
is
to
true.
give.
If you're giving unconditionally, if you're giving because you are so full of love that you want to give. Don't give because any other reason.
No, I like it.
That was a big lesson for me.
Give.
And I kept practicing that lesson throughout the 21 days that I was there. Which is a long time.
It's a long time, yeah.
It's a long time. And the thing as well is, you know how I spend about, usually I think last time I checked before going to Rainbow, I was probably on my phone about 2.5 hours a day.
On your phone?
On my phone.
Yeah.
So 2.5 hours a day, times that by 20, that's about 40...
50, yeah.
50, 40, whatever, 40 something hours, right? That's a lot of hours of distraction. And, you know, like the psychology research, whatever, tells us, like, if you get distracted, it takes about 20 minutes to get undistracted.
Yeah.
Like if you're working on something, or if you're like thinking or meditating or whatever, like, and then your phone dings, it takes about 20 minutes to get back. So if you add that into the 2 hours of phone use daily, that means like you're distracted like half the day. Mm-hmm. And because you're so distracted and you're so busy, time goes quick, and you don't go deep in what is happening for you in each moment because you don't have the time. Because like if you remember one time you said, I don't have time to be sad.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, I do.
So it's like, but in there, you have time to feel everything that is happening in each moment.
Wait, can I just clarify? I think something that me and Maz have both agreed on is a happy life, a well-lived life is a life where you experience all of the different flavors and shades of living. All of the extremities, the boundaries, the borders, the
emotional wheel. You know, the wheel of emotion. Have you seen it?
Maybe. I don't know.
There's a thing. Look it up. A wheel of emotion, and there's like maybe 50 or something in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot.
But just to feel it, you know, and there's
To experience it.
To experience everything that can be experienced. And that's for us, at least. That's
a conclusion we've come to.
Someone else can have a different way. And I think what you're getting at is constant distraction and stuff.
Takes you away from that.
Takes you away from that.
It does. It does.
So it's great that you went to this thing and you felt reconnected with your purpose.
Yeah, it was, and because you have such a... I got really reflective towards the last week and a half.
For that long.
I was reflecting a lot, man. I was reflecting a lot on so many different things, and I learned a lot of things. Probably the one that's going to have the most impact in my life is I learned and practiced it to not take things personally. So, like, you know, sometimes a situation would happen where, for example, someone might come and say, hey, can I chat to you? And the vibe is that they want emotional support in that moment from me. But in that moment, I was doing something, and that thing couldn't be postponed. So I said, sorry, I can't do it right now. I really wanted to. So I had nothing, there was nothing personal there. I actually would have loved to give that support. But in that moment, I couldn't. And so it was a non-personal thing. I was like, so... And sometimes I'm on the other end of that exchange, where someone says something or does something that can be perceived as personal, if you choose to. But later on, I realized that it actually wasn't personal. But like I didn't even so that sort of example happened a lot of times on both ends, where I did something to someone that could be perceived as personal and it definitely wasn't, or someone did something to me that I could have perceived as personal, and then later on I found out it wasn't.
But you're making an assumption that nothing is ever personal. What if it is?
So I'm not making an assumption that nothing is ever personal. I'm saying, and the thing is, when you take something personally, what impact does it have?
Yeah, it fragments the relationship.
And for your own emotional experience and quality of life, quality of experience. It feels shit, right?
Yeah.
And is there any benefit?
I guess you're trying to reevaluate your reliance on that person or your relationship. So it's like evidence against being reliant on that person.
Being close with that person.
So you're trying to protect yourself. So you're like, fuck, this person's not reliable. Next time, I'm not gonna,
But that's not necessarily related to taking things personally, though. Like, okay, so for example, if I'm always late, like, which I'm not, but if I am always late...
I could take it personally. I just say, oh, Master doesn't respect me.
No, that's a good example. Yeah.
Where maybe you don't respect me.
But maybe I'm just a ADHD person with whatever. And
I'm happy to go with the conclusion that most of the time things aren't personal.
So the thing is, most of the time it's not personal.
Yeah, I'm happy.
And even when it is, probably it's net positive in quality of experience and life for me to go with it's not personal.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Like even if it actually is, which really 99% of the times it isn't.
Everyone's so involved with themselves too.
Yeah, that's it. So that was another thing. I'm like, there's so much happening in our heads.
Yeah, I know.
We don't have room to be personally attacking someone else.
Yeah, not many people have that much capacity.
I mean, I'm busy. You're busy.
don't have time for that
most
shit.
people, yeah, ain't nobody got time for that.
Bro, you just solved like all of the world's problems.
Yeah, that was a good lesson. And that's what I mean. There was a lot of like, when you go into that reflective space, when you're not being distracted, when your attention isn't constantly getting drawn to things, and you're not thinking about time and worried about time, it was so powerful to just be in that deep reflective space and just like, yeah. It was also nice to be in nature and away from technology and all that stuff. It was a full hippie experience. This is the first time I've had a full hippie experience.
Would you live like that forever?
I don't think it's for me.
Whoa, so you're saying you're not a full hippie?
Look, living in Rainbow permanently, I don't think I like that. I am a bit driven. My drive, like toward the last 3 days, I was starting to get a bit antsy.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go back. I got the Zentai Shiatsu training. I got my workshop. I got this. Like I was sort of starting to prepare myself for the re-emergence of Maz into the life. Because I think I like to do things. I like to be active. We were talking about this. I like to live life fully. And that is a really cool, awesome life. But I don't want to do it all the time. I'll probably, if I can afford it in my time, I'll probably do it every year. And maybe not the whole 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, but I'll try and do it every year. But I don't think it would be, if there was a permanent one, which I think there is actually, I don't think I could live there permanently. It will be a bit like my drive.
Nah, don't go. If you go, then
my needs for drive will not be met.
Who's gonna stop me from doing stupid shit? If you go.
Yeah, Rainbow Gathering.
Shit.
And there's one happening in Tasmania right now, actually.
We should go. Get a plane ticket. Let's go.
I got Bali, so can't.
So guys, literally, Maz is gonna become prophet. What should we call your holy book?
Know thyself.
Know thyself, holy book. You know, we're gonna publish a copy about July 2024. I'll put it on Audible as well.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do it now. People are waiting for a copy.
Yeah, it'll happen.
It'll happen. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. We're not gonna have an episode in person for a while.
Yeah, so like we've been having a lot of online episodes.
Yeah, we forgot to mention
first proper in-person episode.
In person's good, man. In person's very good. But that's fine. We'll see you next time. Probably not. Maybe we will. Fuck you, Maz. Fucking fuck. Let's go. Go to meditation. Go to meditation.
I was like, man, she's not gonna be able to sit down for months. Masturbation.
Before we wrap up, I want to get my religious frustration out. I wasn't empathizing with Hitler. Fucking fuck.
Anything you want to do, you can.
Be a professor. Wink, wink.
Clearly, you spent too much time on Pornhub.